Thank you again for making it to day 3 of the Owning Your Abundant Life Summit. Your host and presenter for this evening, Eushanya Clarke, and I just want to thank you for making it in to day 3. But before we begin, I just want to share with you what has been happening over the past few days. We've had two previous presenters who were both amazing in their presentation and the direction they chose to present the abundant life aspect from. First, on Sunday, we had Dina Overland. She did an amazing job. She spoke about owning our authentic selves. She gave us visuals, how to just stop ourselves when we feel like we're not owning and living in the moment. I remember quite clearly the big red stop sign. How can you miss it? She shared just her journey with her miscarriage, how she chose to move past that pain. And we're all too familiar with pain. Some of us use it and grow, while some, unfortunately, it cripples. Dina did an amazing job just telling us to surrender the outcome. She tried and tried for a number of years trying to have a second child until just recently she made peace with that she may never have this baby that she so desires. But now she's at a place that she's happy. And when we just learn how to let go and, like she said, surrender to the outcome, we find ourselves at peace and at a place that we can truly move on. Nothing is holding us back. On Monday, we had Gabby, who she gave us an insightful meditation, allowing us to just clear our hindrances, release our limitations, and just center ourselves as we go on this quest to our abundance and just living from that point of our truest potential. Loved it. She made one key point that really struck with me, that, and it's an excuse we've used all the time. I've used it too many times to count, where she just shared, it's not the outside circumstances that limits us. It's actually within. Oh, yes. Even deciding to go on this journey, wow, I gave myself all sorts of excuses. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. I don't feel qualified enough. I'll be just talking to myself. So many excuses, but none of them. I chose not to look at me. I was looking for a cop-out. I really was. But not until I realized, hey, these are all just excuses, Eushanya. Let's try. We don't know. I surrendered to the outcome, and here we are. We have made it to day 3. Like I said, my name is Eushanya. I decided to go on this Owning Your Abundant Life journey for a number of reasons. The summit was geared for women mainly, who, we've operated, as women, we feel a lot deeper than our male counterparts. We tend to wallow or hold on to that which we feel or experience from a particular life circumstance. And we hold on to that and we will milk it until it's dead or dry. So I too had my own hang-ups on certain circumstances in my life. I will get into those later on in the presentation, but this summit was for those women who we just feel like this is it. Whatever it was that crippled us, or that life-changing event, maybe it was a divorce, a miscarriage, the death of a loved one. We have identified ourselves with that particular instance so much that when it ends, there's no me without it. But life continues. And that's what I want women to understand. That was a one-time event. We shouldn't just give up the rest of our lives based on it. So it's geared for women who just feel like, listen, this is my life. I am a single mom. It doesn't get any better than this. I have to give up on my goals. My child will just have to learn how to tough it out. I had to. and fend for themselves. You know, that kind of defeated standpoint. And it doesn't have to be like that. Yes, we may be down, and there are instances where situations just knock the life out of us. But brush yourself off. Take a moment. You know, experience those emotions to actually learn from them, to use them as stepping stones to get to that place where you can truly enjoy life again. We want to get back to our childhood dreams of even fairy tales and castles. We can build our own castle. It doesn't have to have a steeple. I don't have to have here hanging out the window to catch my Prince Charming. He can use the stairs. Come on. But we know we want to dream. We want that child excitement, that childlike excitement, that exuberance, that life. And it really doesn't have to be associated with wealth. Yes, we want to be wealthy. Yes, we want to know that our bills are taken care of. Yes, we want to know that we live in a decent house, or children are attending good schools. But there is so much more. And when you start to really enjoy what you do in life, if you're a teacher, when you start showing up to school with that exuberance, that joy, that desire to impart knowledge, then the wealth will come. People will notice what you do, and you will be an asset to the school. They will not lose you. They would not want to lose you. So, hey, you'll be compensated. And the same for me. I am excited. There are no words right now. I'm just humbled that I made sense of my mess soon enough to be able now to help someone else to make sense of theirs. So I just want to thank you again. If today is your first time on the summit, again, my name is Eushanya Clarke. I'm a life coach. I dub myself the Abundance Life Coach because what we do is we try to get you to live from that place of fullness, that place of joy, that place where you can tap into your true potential, where you can learn how to be your most authentic self. And when you really do that, you cannot but be excited for life. You cannot but be just hopeful and joyous and a pleasure to be around. Nobody likes a Debbie Downer or Eeyore. Why me? And he can't find his tail and all that good stuff. But today we're going to get the life back into you. We're going to get excited about just living and just a little more than exist. Okay? Well, thanks again for showing up, and here we are. My presentation title for this evening, I chose for a topic, Uniquely You, the new revised edition. Why, you might ask? And I will just give you a little background as to who I am. I was born and raised in Jamaica. I had very humble beginnings. We were not rich, we didn't even live close to rich people. But my mother, I'm from a single family home. I'm the sixth of 8 children. There were days when, I don't know how, looking back now, I don't know how she did it, but she made sure that we went to school, we were clean, we didn't hang out on street corners, and she worked nights sometimes, but she would know if we even opened the door after it got dark. But I saw how hard she worked, and even at a young age, I purposed that, hey, I don't want that kind of, I just don't want to work so hard. I don't want life to be so hard. So I would sit daydreaming. I had all these huge, larger than life goals that I would tell myself. I was an avid reader. I would read everything, anything. I would just read, and I wanted to be all that. But when I did well in school, I was I always got leadership positions in high school. I was a prefect until I became the deputy head girl of a prominent high school, Denby High School. Shout out to Denby. And I still had all these dreams. My teachers were, just excited about my potential. I was too, but in the back of my head, I knew that college was, uh, I don't know how I was going to get to college because by now I'm starting to hear some numbers and you have to get scholarship, and it was just an intimidating task for me. I didn't see how I was going to make that work. I would lay low, people asking about college applications. I'm like, oh, I'll take it, but I'll fill it up at home. Trying not to draw any attention to myself because I didn't want the questions because my family, we were very private. So on the outside, you would never know that we didn't have, the means, or we weren't so well off, we weren't eating chicken every day. Nah. So I didn't want to have that out there for just trying to safeguard my mother and just my family. So I would secretly take them knowing full well that I may not be able. One day I finally filled out an application for Northern Caribbean University because I've been a Sabbath keeper all my life. It's what I have known. It's what I was raised into. So they were a Seventh-day Adventist institution. So I was like, okay, let's see. And I got accepted. Yay! Only too excited, I went home to tell my mom I got accepted to school. She was like, that's good, but I knew the butt was coming. I was trying to hide from the butt, but I understand she really couldn't. I would have been the first one to actually try this kind of stuff, and I was number 6. So I really wanted to though. I really wanted to. I wanted to. And then growing up with these meager means, I wish I had someone at the time to speak to. In school, I had someone who came really close to being that guide. In my guidance counselor, Miss Parchment at the time, I could talk to her. So I fell in love with the helping professions at that time because here she was a counselor. She understood and she acted like she cared. I'm sure she did. But I liked that. And I was like, oh my God, if I could be that person to someone else, that's fine. All right. I had to ask them, college, let's go back. I had to ask the university to allow me to start the January as opposing to that summer semester, just so I could, get some funds in. Luckily for me, after graduation, the high school asked me to be a lab tech for the science department. So here I was earning some money. Because, like I tell you, I was very active in school, and I did pretty decent work. So I was only too excited. I did a year, pushed back another semester for entrance into college, and I paid my first year's tuition by myself. How about that? But I was hungry for more. These were my dreams. These were my goals. In my quiet time, this was the kind of thoughts I envisioned. This was my life. So I started school, not sure how the second year, third year, or even fourth year was going to happen. But I just wanted to start. I did. But let's fast forward to final year. The end is in sight, and how excited I am. I made it this point. It has been hard. I took a couple semesters off just to make the money to go back. But I am at this point without any student loan. None. Good. But life happened. That's what we tend to call it. Or I made some wrong choices. And smack dab in the middle of final year, I was pregnant. That wasn't a part of the plan. I was I was shattered. I was shattered because, for one, the father was not someone that, he wasn't going to be there. Put it like that. No more excuses, no more sugarcoating. He wasn't going to be there, so I couldn't be like, oh, let's have a house with a picket fence. That wasn't my reality, and I didn't have a home with a picket fence to go back to. I just said I'm the sixth of 8 children, so I already left 2 behind me who may want to come. What kind of example am I setting at this point? And to make matters worse, being raised in church, I was very active. I'm that kind of person. I'm just very active and involved in my community, my church, in my school. That's who I am. So in church, I was worship leader at the time, or present choir director had my grades. That was me. How do I go back to say I have sinned, I'm pregnant? So that means my support system, to me as I know it, just dwindled. I didn't know how my mother was going to react. My pastor at the time was like my father. We spoke about everything. He would help me out financially. So I was like a church baby. There were a lot of people looking up to me, a lot of people cheering me on. But here I was, pregnant, unmarried, no income, no source of future at this point. I just saw the walls crashing down. All the fancy dreams I had, at this point, they seem non-existent. It was hard. It was hard. I think I was my hardest critic. I bashed myself over the head. I asked why. How could I let this happen? I even toyed with the idea of abortion, but the little bit of Jesus that was left in me was like, are you serious? You're going to do all this mess, and then on top of it, keep piling on more dirt? When will you ever see light? So that was out the window. I told all the persons who really mattered to me. Enduring the shame, I didn't go back to church until I was showing, because by now I know it would have been whispering around, oh, did you hear she's pregnant? And all that kind of stuff. So when I came in, don't ask me, you already know, it's right here. Look, don't ask me anything. And I walked through that period of shame and loss as I know it, because all my dreams, I couldn't see past this child. How was I ever going to do it? Remember, I said I didn't want to work as hard as my mom. I knew I was going to have 8 children, but I didn't want just to, not having enough to provide for this child. And God forbid if it were twins. But it was a single child. That's funny. I never thought of that. But it was an emotional roller coaster for me. My friends were amazing, but there were others who, like Job, they were just some miserable comforters. They were just, how could you let that happen? And they were rubbing your back at the same time. Listen, if you're going to just rub my back, just be quiet. Don't beat me over the head. I am already doing it myself. So back up, please, or don't say nothing. Just rub it. I could really use the back rub at that time. But I didn't want life to go on. I delivered my son. He was an amazing, just full of life. He was just always smiling and bubbly. He was an easy child. Thank you. But I kept a journal through my pregnancy, just highlighting how hard it was. And I would write him little letters just telling him, when I'm crying, it's not because I don't want you. I'm just beating up myself because I wish I had made better plans for you. But forgive me. I was so hard. It was so heavy. It was so dark. But when I saw him, I wish I could tell you that I was just so excited and life had new meaning. It did. But not in the sense that everything went away. There were days when he would just want to go and just bubbly and jumpy and smiley and drooling all over the place. And I was just looking at him thinking, what have I done? I've done messed up my life, and here's another one that I'll be held responsible for. There were dark days. Dark days. And I forced my way. I didn't even get to finish college, but after I had my son, I went back. I finished internships, so at least I can say, yay, when life came back, I did it, or something to fall back on. Because even in my state of despair, I was still searching for that light. I was looking for it at every corner. Because maybe I can redeem myself. Maybe, just maybe, I can get another chance at this. Maybe we don't have to end up on the street, God forbid. But it was dark days. There were dark days. There were days when I didn't know where the diaper was going to come from. He was a grown baby. He didn't want to be a baby too long. And he was breastfed for 9 months. So I didn't have the formula expense. Thank you, Jesus. But there was the diaper dilemma. There were days when I would see just the one diaper, and that's the day when Mr. had diarrhea. And when that last one would come off, his grandma or one of his aunts would pop on with diapers. I'd be like, I don't know if you believe in God, but a lot of what I do, I owe to him, and who I am now is just because of how amazing he is and has been to me. He has been a constant. But this child, he was my source of motivation without even me knowing it. He just refused to stay down. He was just always going, and when I couldn't give him that, it made me feel bad. And it was for a number of months that we went through this just dark phase. He couldn't reach his mother. I didn't want to be reached by you. I was trying to figure out life as it is. I was sending out job applications, not even a call to see, oh, how did you pronounce your name? Nothing. We made the decision to migrate. Oh, a change of scenery should change things, you say. This darkness continued. I would journal, I would write my little prayers and hopes for what I wanted. And I would pray, I would read the Bible, I would listen to just other people, how they get it together. I would love Oprah. I loved Oprah programs at the time. And just daydream like, oh my God, I wish I was in that audience getting that massage or that book, that awesome book that somebody was promoting that would actually maybe give me answers to some of my questions and quest for life. But I realized that my son needed more, and life as I know it continued. Not because I had a child, or not because I had a child now that I had to give up on all those dreams. And I said, all right, one more round. There were days when I didn't want to go on living, but I wasn't completely selfish that I should end my life. I was thinking about my son, like, who would he have? So I had to do this, not for me, but for him. And that takes me into the uniqueness of my circumstances and the uniqueness of your circumstances. Somebody else may have went through the same exact scenario, but their outcome is totally different from mine. Our value systems vary. We hold true. Maybe they didn't have the support system. The strength was not enough. They just gave up. But like I said, I was still searching for that light secretly. I didn't make it known, oh, I was still going to be somebody, because who would have believed it? I was living in my first copy of my life. This was the book that everybody knew. Oh, she come from a single parent family. Now she's going to be a single parent, and they will never amount to anything. That was the book. This was the book. Here she is, the disgraced church member, the disgraced choir leader, whatever it was. that was my reality. That was my first copy. Everybody had this book and they were telling their mothers to go get it. This was who I was. This was who I was. And I owned that. I had to walk through it. Like I told you, I went back to church with my stomach showing. Don't ask me. Here it is. I wasn't trying to hide. I wasn't trying to make excuses. I just wanted to learn from it. I wanted to pass as quickly as possible so I could get on. There were days when I didn't think it was going to pass. But your first copy, it could be a marriage that you've known all of your life. You've been known and established as Mrs. So-and-so. Here it is. He has another female and no longer wishes to be identified with you. What to do now? And like I said, we all deal with our situations differently. For another female, they may be, oh, he's gone. I'm going to go get another man and establish myself further. You can too. I did. I chose not to live in that defeated standpoint. I got all the help I need. I reached out for resources. I had friends who kept on checking on me. Like I said, I journaled my thoughts. I wrote little prayers, little dreams. I still kept on dreaming, but the difference was I wasn't as vocal as before because I was trying to convince myself that they were still even remotely possible. But I kept dream alive. And all of this to say that, you know, our first copies is the hardest to do a recall. Sometimes you can't do a recall on your first copy. You know, we're afraid to even start a new draft to the revised edition of what we actually want life to look like because we're just scared that persons will not let go of that first copy, that first image that they have of us. But one thing that I want to point out today is just the benefit of doing life or making your own in all of these situations, just doing you, being real to you, tap into that true potential, tap into that authentic self. Like I said, I had miserable comforters. They were just there, oh, life as you know it has ended, how you could have done that, and you know, the laments were non-stop sometimes. I was lamenting too. But I didn't want, this was a decision I made, stuck by it. I didn't want to listen to somebody else's stance on it. Oh, you shoulda, you coulda, you woulda. I didn't want that because whatever decision I made, I wanted to stand by it if it didn't work out. I wanted to be able, all right, Eushanya, this is not how it works. So, all right, back to the drawing board. But had I listened to some of these recommendations or advice that I've been given, when they failed, I would have been deeper in misery. I would have become more angry and bitter with pent-up emotions because a lot of these persons I looked up to, I respected. So I wasn't really gonna, you know, really go out and be disrespectful to them. But I would harbor little roots of bitterness and just resentment against this person had I done what they said. And you know too, some advice that we get is like, really? You cannot be thinking about my best interest and telling me that. So just do what works for you. I journal. I recommend journaling to everyone. This is where I can be real with me. I can make little steps. I can alter it. I can scratch it out and go again. Just be real. It's an avenue that has no judgments. Just be real with the process. Just be you. It's okay. In this book, I am Wonder Woman. I don't know if you see little joke Bo Beep, but in this book, I'm Wonder Woman. In my journal, in my thoughts, in my dreams, I can make it all happen. And the minute we stop dreaming and believing is when we fail. So just when you make that decision, whatever decision it is, to Step out of this darkness. Make it from a standpoint that benefits you. You are the only one who have to live with the end results. And you can tailor it if it doesn't work. If you see that, at the time I saw that I would cry and just be very sad and penitent about my life choices. But that only worked up until a point. There was a point now that I needed to take action. It was all good that I was remorseful for what I did, but I need to now get up and make the decision to go on with my life. And this takes me to the next point. It's okay to revise the original plan. I wanted to finish school, land that dream job, get married by 25, have my first kid at say 28, by 30 I should, all that good stuff. I had it all penned out, and I'm sure I have a journal back home with it written in it. But that didn't work out, and life didn't end. So it's okay to revise that first copy, or you'll be just living without purpose. Life changes. You can't be so rigid in your plan for life. We have to surrender to the outcome. Here we go back to Dina. And just choose to live in the present. Yesterday happened. I can't go back and fix it. Tomorrow I'm not sure of the outcome, but for right here and now, I'm going to make it count. I didn't do all that I set out to do, but how can I tailor it now to still operate from a place of abundance, from a place of joy, from a place of purpose? How can I now? I had to do it. I had to say, I knew I wanted to be a helping professional, a social worker, a counselor, now a life coach. I wanted to be that person that just lifts your spirit when you're down, link you to resources, make your life a lot easier than I had to. I had to now, with all that dream, I had to now incorporate my son. He was here. Life didn't end when he was born. So I had to tailor it in. This is my revised copy. First, I was a one-woman act. Now, I have a son. How can I now make these plans and make him a part of it? You can too. The divorce has ended. He took his things, he didn't take you. Life still goes on. Cry, go through the emotions, experience the pain, use it to heal, and use it as a stepping stone to move on to what next. You can tailor life now that you're a one-woman show or a one-man show. How can I make this work? I know we started out as a duo, as a couple, and we were going to do great things and conquer the world, but Mr. is not here. I know I was planning for this baby because it was supposed to cement my marriage. It was supposed to establish me as a woman. It didn't happen. Life did not end. How can I now move on with all this pain, with all this experience, with all this wealth of knowledge? How can I now tailor it to be my best life yet? Everybody loves a good comeback story. I do. But when we are afraid because of our outside or persons on the outside, that's not enough. That's not a good enough reason to just lie back in the shadows and surrender to the elements. No, fight back. We can. We are the author of our own lives with God. I don't know if you believe in God, but whatever you hold true, whatever that power, that higher power that you adhere to or hold high in the highest esteem, He has a plan for our lives. And every avenue that we think is a mishap or a roadblock, He can use it and turn it around for our good. Like I said, if you had told me this 6 years ago, I was just staring you blank in the face. Lady, do you see my surroundings? Do you see? I'm not sure how I'm going to finish my schooling. I am pregnant. I have no support. I have no money saved. This was not a part of it. I didn't even have a budget for it to be included in it. So, take that somewhere else. Pull from that inner strength, that inner source. Keep, like I said, keep those dreams alive. that castle can still be yours. That life of purpose can still happen. And your story can help to empower someone else. And here I am. I could have ended that story and just surrendered in defeat that, listen, I was going to be a single mom. I was going to say how hard it is to find a job and the economy is tough and how unfair men are, and just become the president actually of the man bashing club, or, just beat up the church for, just being miserable comforters at times. Or, I could have chosen a lot of avenues and use them as excuses, and probably some of them would have been justified, like, hey, maybe if she had both parents in our family, she would have turned out better. Maybe if she didn't have to work so hard for school, maybe she would have turned out better. The thing is, I will never know all that. That was not my reality, and I refuse to spend my time daydreaming about stuff that is not beneficial. I'm going to work. That's all I know. And maybe that's a quality I did take from my mother, that we were going to make it work regardless. I took that first copy, my dreams. My story started out beautiful. Here I was happy. People may think that, oh, being a single mom, coming from a single parent family, oh, you were miserable. You always had friends. My brothers and my sisters, they were fun. They are fun to be around. So it wasn't all that miserable. We were good. And we learned to use what we had to be happy. We were going to school. We were never hungry. Never hungry. The only point that we knew we weren't as fortunate as others was when we heard the stories at school. And we kept our story to ourselves, so they probably thought we had chicken every day too. But, then my story got ugly. It made an unpredictable twist. That chapter ended that book. I am now in my revised edition, that I can now use the first copy, my life experiences, to make it an even better copy, my best yet. And there's no shame if this is your third edition. Life just been handing it to you, so you have 1, 2. I've seen 16th edition of books. There's no shame in that. You research, you grow, and you move on. I was once, like I said, my first copy, I had to decide that this is not where the story ends. I'm going to make the most of what I have now, to own that life, to live life to my fullest potential. I'm going to see how far I can get. Since life didn't end, I'm not going to stop there. And you shouldn't either. I just, at this time, want to encourage you to take another grip. Be true to you. Write down your dreams, write down your goals, write down the plans that you have. If they, at this point where you are, if they don't add up to that first draft that you had, that's okay. You still have life. You, as the author of your copy, you still have the pen, and you can still dream, and you can still work at it. Use your life experiences that were designed and may have killed others, but it left you standing. Use that experience to grow. Use that experience to make yourself stronger. Build on those stones that have been thrown at you. Just move on to get life. I want you to be in this journey with me. I'm learning each day just to surrender to the outcome. I used to just want to have it, go get it, but I'm just learning to relax and make it my best. I'm enjoying the little things in life. Now when my 6-year-old comes home, and he's such a comic, this is the light of my life. I'm so happy that he came in when he did. Maybe the life I had envisioned really wasn't for me. But I just want to encourage you to do the same. So if If you think that you are stuck, that you are feeling hopeless for whatever reason, whatever first copy you have dealing with right now, and you just want some guidance, some help to go through to write the next copy, the revised edition, I'm offering just free consultations. I will send the email out in a few of how you can connect with me. This is free, no charge. So you can reach out to me. I just want to help you to see past. Let's see what's working. From time, too many times, we are just stuck on what's not working. Whatever we focus on expands. So let's just find those little things. It may be one thing that's going on for you right now, and that may be just life. The fact that you're alive, I'll take that any day. So I'll be reaching out to you. You can reach out to me. And at this point, I'll be answering your questions. If you have any questions, you can post them on the Facebook page. Eushanya Clarke, Abundant Life Coach, Shania Clarke, or the events page. I have one question here. What would you suggest to a young man who feels defeated? No parents and no support system. All right, what would you suggest to a young man who feels defeated? No parents and no support system. To some degree, I can relate. Like I said, my mother knew nothing about college. So in that particular dream, she couldn't relate. She couldn't offer any assistance. So that wasn't any support. But like I said, I spoke to my guidance counselor. There may be another person that you are familiar with that can be that support system for you. Maybe if you're a part of a church, if you're in a school, maybe there's that one lecturer or teacher who you can relate to, who can be that guide at that moment to just steer you onto the right path, show you, all right, plan A will lead you to X, Y, Z. Maybe that's not where you want to go. So let's explore plan B. Plan B, you took it, you didn't get the desired result. Let's see what plan C holds. So I'm sure you can find that person who can help you to, just build your spirit, lift your spirit by giving you guidance, by acting as a coach, or, just reach out to someone. If you know that person personally, I'll be only happy to help, so you can steer them in my direction. But just reach out to an older person who you trust and who's knowledgeable enough to offer advice of substance, because not all advice is worth taking. Next question, is having an abundant life actually possible? I'm tempted to say heck yeah, but my mother may be watching. It is. And like I said, for too long, we have associated abundance with the big house, the luxury cars, the flashy rings, the blings. There is more to it. There is more to it. How I see my abundant life is in finding the joys in my son, in his little question, in his quirkiness, and there's helping others. I am living from that abundance. I am truly filled when I see a cheerful client and they leave with joy and the smiles that, hey, I really thought this had ended. I'm so grateful for your help, Eushanya, that I can now take I can try again, I can make a revised copy. That is abundant. So what do you ascribe abundance to? Of course, enjoying little things, going after that dream. Maybe you wanted to write a book, start it. You never know what will happen. If it's not meant to be published, you have a book. But go. Of course, it is extreme. It is possible. Just what we value, we should be able to get that abundance from, that fullness, that joy. Next question. What advice would you give someone in the midst of a challenging life? Don't give up. Absolutely do not give up. Challenges It wasn't specific to what challenge, but experience the emotions. If it hurts, cry. You know, maybe there are days when you just don't want to be around anybody. Go through the experience. Own it, use it, learn from it, build on it. Don't stop. It doesn't end there. If it didn't take your life, it was meant to go on. You were meant to go on. These challenges, reach out for help. Find support groups. Get a friend. Not all friends are just miserable comforters. I'm sure you can find a friend. They can't help, know of someone who can help. Reach out for help, but experience that loss or that challenge that you're experiencing, to go through it, use it, learn the lessons from it. Almost every challenge in life has a lesson. Sometimes we are so caught up that we miss it and may have to repeat it. But if we slow down just a little bit to try to try to see what or how I contributed to it, own your part of it, make sense of it, pick it apart, just go through, let it have its course. There is almost always a lesson to be had. Next question, what are some tools other than journaling that helps to revise your copy? What are some of the other tools? A lot of people read. There are excellent resource books on, just self-help, trying to get you to the next level. There are audio copies of just motivational speakers who try to get you to that point where you can actually see that, hey, I am not the only one experiencing this loss. I am now going through Earl Nightingale's writing and recordings, and they are live. Where has he been all my life? So, find research, books, just resources that, can teach you or give you a wider capacity for life, for new meaning after a loss. There are a ton of them. Like I said, I am now doing Earl Nightingale, and it's definitely working for me. So find resources that works. A good book always help. Always help. My next question is, what are some services you offer as an abundant life coach? Well, at the moment, I am doing one-on-one consultations. I work with you to just overcome that mindset of defeatism. Like I said, through our one-on-one consultations, I will try to see where you are, where you want to get to, and the time frame that works best for you. I work with you to enable you to see that, listen, we can fix this. You know how. Have the resources. Here I am as a guide. We're going to do X, Y, and Z work together. But it's all in the mind. So we just shift your mental blocks, the negative mindsets. So that is key to what I'm doing at the moment, to enable you to see life from a standpoint of abundance, because by being frustrated, you're seeing life in limited means. This is all I have, and it's not working. So of course the frustration kick in, the defeatism attitude, the woe is me mindset. But I work with you to eliminate those blocks and help you to embrace life as it is. Do we have any more questions? Well, guys, I just want to thank you again for making it to day 3. It has been my absolute pleasure working with you. I think I'm getting a question. Okay. All right. Common. All right. Like I said, it was my absolute pleasure reaching to you. I'm grateful for you welcoming me into your lives, into your homes. Again, my name is Eushanya Clarke. I'm an abundant life coach. As a bonus for subscribing to this summit, I will be offering free consultations. If you feel like you are at that point where you are just stuck, life as it is makes no sense, you can reach out to me. My email address is eushyeast@gmail.com, and I will schedule you for that consultation, whether it be call, Skype, whatever works for you. I will reach out for you. We can make that happen. We can see how to get you to that point where you just start believing again. We're trying to get you to that childlike exuberance where anything is possible, because in fact it is. All that negative talk is just within you. It's just in your mind. And as soon as we clear all those limitations, life as we know it can be abundant. So again, I just want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for allowing me into your lives. I hope that you have learned something. I hope that you have been given the drive, the extra oomph to just go ahead and start writing again. Revise that old copy. You don't have to go down as the failure. You don't have to go down as the disgraced church girl. I am now doing much more than I ever dreamed. My son is an amazing asset to my life, and I am just so happy and excited that I didn't close the book there. That's not where it ended. I am now writing my revised copy, and it doesn't matter, like I said, if you're at the 16th edition. It only gets better. Research, grow, build on what you have. Make your best life yet. It is indeed possible. Again, you can reach out to me. I'm on Facebook as Eushanya Clarke, the Abundant Life Coach. You can reach me via email at eushyyeast@gmail.com. We can schedule our one-on-one consultation. Girl, guy, it doesn't have to end here. You can be smiling. You can live again. I believe it, and I hope you do too. And with that, I just want to thank you for sharing this time with me. Have a good evening.